Transparency is a word that you hear a lot in politics these days, but actions speak louder than words.
So Fox 2 went looking for answers at Detroit City Hall, where Problem Solver M.L. Elrick had to dodge traffic while Detroit City Council members dodged questions.
Councilman, we need to talk to you about this. You have not filed your campaign finance report. Why don't you just stop and answer a question? Just stop the car for a minute. You're a public official. Why don't you answer any questions? So who's the shy guy at City Hall? Who else? Detroit City Councilman George Cushingberry. And this time, the issue is Cushingberry's failure to file his campaign finance reports. In fact, Cushingberry owes state and local authorities nearly $30,000 in penalties for failing to let the public know where he gets his political dough. If Cushingberry doesn't get his act together soon, his dereliction could even get him tossed off council. More on that in a minute, because it turns out Cushingberry isn't the only council member I caught blowing off deadlines. Councilmen Gabe, Leland, and Scott Benson also kept Detroiters in the dark about their dough.
Ooh. That's just slack.
They're not rookie candidates, ML. They're veteran candidates who have been in politics for decades, for years in this city. I think, they know what the rules are. They just have to play by the rules.
Failing to file campaign finance reports may sound like the nerdiest issue ever. But you know who else didn't file his campaign finance reports?
You haven't, in 2 calendar years, filed your own campaign finance statement in violation of state election law.
Right.
Longtime political consultant Steve Hood says campaign finance reports can help the public figure out who has clout in City Hall.
It's a huge deal. There are only 2 ways to buy an elected official. You give them straight cash, as you reported so eloquently during the Kilpatrick mess, or 2, you make campaign donations, which give you access.
Even Councilman Leland agrees it's an important issue.
Residents should have the expectation for transparency, and I intend on showing that in my campaign filing of the annual, which I will be doing very, very immediately.
Shortly after we met, Leland filed his overdue report.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Benson also filed some delinquent campaign finance reports after I caught up with him outside City Hall. I just need a minute.
I gotta go.
But he's still got a lot of catching up to do. Okay, so what's been the holdup?
There's a lot of things going on. Sometimes those things fall by the wayside, and I'm glad that you were able to remind me to do them.
But you also have to fill out the ones from your state rep campaign, so this looks like there's a little bit of a habit.
No, it was going a long time ago.
The Secretary of State says those haven't been closed out.
I got to look at those. Those have been gone a long time ago, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks for reminding me, though.
Well, that's not quite right. The Secretary of State says Benson owes more than $3 grand in fines. Despite my reminder, Benson still hasn't settled his account. And as you can see from the snow on the ground, it's been a while since I caught up with him.
Look, I know we all get busy. Heck, every year I file an extension so I can turn in my taxes late. But I, like you, do eventually turn in that paperwork.
It seems like everyone in Michigan is after the Right Honorable Mr. Cushingberry. The Secretary of State sent Cushingberry numerous nasty grams demanding his missing campaign finance reports. The Wayne County Clerk sent Cushingberry a stack of warnings about his missing paperwork. And now the County Treasurer, State Treasurer, and Attorney General have been asked to help Cushingberry to pay his fines and finally follow the rules.
It's significant, especially when you have a spot on you. These same candidates have come up earlier in your reports about other unpleasant things. So I think it would make good for the public good that, they take care of this business.
Ignoring the law isn't cheap either. The Wayne County Clerk has fined Cushingberry nearly $2 grand. But that's chump change compared to what he owes the state. The Secretary of State has fined Cushingberry nearly $28,000. His delinquency could lead to criminal charges. How difficult is it to file these reports?
I taught a person with no campaign finance knowledge how to do it years ago, and they did it right away. Right? It's simple. The instructions an 8th grader can do the instructions.
The city charter requires elected officials to file campaign finance reports. The charter also says officials who neglect their duty can be chucked out of office. But one of the people who helped draft the charter says it may be up to the city's top lawyer to determine whether Cushingberry's luck has finally run out.
Well, what are the odds that the city's lawyers are going to go after Cushingberry?
Well, City Hall is a political place, and I don't see the mayor's top lawyer picking on one of the most powerful people on City Council, but we will ask the administration whether they plan to press this point, and if he'll ever stop and talk to us, we'll ask Mr. Cushingberry, why isn't he filing this paperwork? This has been a problem for years.
Well, you got three political council members who failed to file. What about other politicians? Have they failed to file as well?
Well, there have been some who have been delinquent. There's been some who have to answer some questions on omissions in their reports. But Kim Worthy, our Wayne County prosecutor, is among the local officials who has not filed a campaign finance report for last year. She left me a message today saying that she's looking into it. She wasn't aware of that, and she's going to try and get to the bottom of it.
I know you'll check them.
Well, we're not going anywhere here.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
ML.
ML.